Hello there. This is Business Unscripted with Shae Spitz, and I am here with Paige Ritz at Agricity. Hello there, Paige.
Good morning. How are you?
I am good. I am good.
Good.
Not too bad. I'm not enjoying the cold weather, but it's
No,
okay.
little
We'll be
shock
fine.
from yesterday.
Yeah, most definitely. So tell me, so you are an insurance agent, right? How long
Correct.
have you been in insurance?
In June it will be 4 years, so
Okay.
it's gone quick. Been a whirlwind of a ride, but it's been fun.
Yeah. So have you been with Agricity for 4 years or just
Yes.
insurance in general?
I've been with Agricity for about a little over 3.5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Previously, I did do commercial lending back in Iowa, as that's actually where my degree took me, and then this
Mm-hmm.
opportunity kind of fell in my lap. Grew up, never thought I would be an insurance agent. No one
Mm-hmm.
ever says that, but this opportunity fell in my lap and kind of hit the ground running from the get go.
Yeah. So you ended up in Iowa
Correct.
doing commercial lending.
Yep.
How
Yep.
long were you
For
doing that then?
about a year and a half.
Okay.
I was doing commercial lending for a large community bank there. My husband is also from the area, so that's really what brought me back to the Columbus area once
Hmm.
we got engaged. I was with a small community bank for a while, and insurance came knocking on my door, and it was something very new, but it was something that I
Hmm.
wanted to take on. So
Hmm.
that's what really led me to where I'm at today.
So one, not only did you think that you wouldn't be doing insurance or ever thought of it,
Hmm.
but then two, did you ever think that you'd be ending up back in the Columbus area?
Absolutely not.
I
Nope.
hear that a lot. I hear that a
Nope.
lot.
Right out of college, I actually moved. I was living in the Okoboji area,
Oh my
and I
gosh.
mean, it was a lot of fun. The winters were a little bit more brutal, but that was really the
Really?
only.
Oh,
Yes, they do
probably.
get. I mean, they're about 3.5 hours northeast of
Yeah.
here, so more snow. It's about 10 degrees colder. But you kind of put up with it because the summers were so nice being out
Mm-hmm.
on the lake. But
Mm-hmm.
circumstances just brought me closer to home, and
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, I am glad that I'm closer to family again. So
Yeah, yeah. Columbus really does have a lot to offer,
it
and they are
does.
growing substantially. And
Hmm.
that's kind of the purpose of this podcast is to let people know what Columbus all has to offer.
Hmm.
Because I know a lot of people don't think Columbus has a ton, but we do. We
Oh,
really do. And so
absolutely.
it's really important to kind of get that information out there. So you started with Agricity. They approached you. Is that the first insurance company you started working with then?
Yes,
Okay.
right out of school. So, or after school, I was an intern actually for a very short time, just doing life insurance in college.
Okay.
But it was strictly life insurance, and it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't really didn't foresee myself doing that long term. So,
Yeah, yeah. So what do you all insure? Because
sure.
Agri-City, I'm sure people see Agri-City and they think agricultural.
They do, they
Yeah.
do. But our name is actually pretty unique. So it's Agri-City. So it's everything from the farm to the city and everything in between. So
Mm-hmm.
what I mean by that, it is yes, it's your farm products, farm insurance, crop insurance, but also it's home, auto, commercial, life, health. We're kind of your one-stop shop for everything, all of your insurance needs.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so you do life and health insurance too. See, I didn't
Correct.
even know that. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you
We
do a lot
do.
of those policies?
Not a ton. Actually, I'm just getting my feet wet with health insurance as of
Mm-hmm.
end of 2021. So 2022, I'll be doing quite a bit more.
Nice.
We do have a gal that she's designated. I mean, that's the bulk of her business right now, but
Mm-hmm.
she will be transitioning out of the business with retirement.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of slowly taking that piece of it over. So there's a ton
Okay.
to learn.
Oh, I'm
The
sure.
regulations they're constantly changing.
Oh my gosh.
So it's
Yeah.
it's it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
Sure. Okay. I don't know what your idea of fun is, but yeah, just following up with those policies because I mean
Mhm,
everybody is always looking at new insurance, health insurance.
mhm,
Everything's constantly changing. Rates are always going up. Your premiums are going down.
mhm,
What they cover changes constantly. So everybody's obviously looking into new health insurance at the
mhm.
end of every year.
Yep,
Probably November, and then
sure.
starting it up again, especially when you
Mhm,
have families or you're self-employed.
mhm,
I don't know if what you do for self-employed individuals, but if
mhm.
that's something that you can help people with.
Absolutely. We do have a broker that we work with out of Omaha, and I mean, group insurance for small employers, it's fairly simple. We gather a census, we get quotes together, and then we're able to present it to the employees. So even for the smaller employers, there's
Mhm.
options that they have for their
Are
employees.
they pretty expensive?
It just kind of depends.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably depends on how many
Yep.
employees there are.
hmm
And then do they have to go through underwriting for like health screening and stuff like that then too?
Not for group, no.
Oh, really?
So,
Okay.
yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Private health insurance is, it's tough,
Yep.
but
And it's
there's,
constantly changing, just
yeah.
like all other lines. That's one thing that I love most about the industry is it's constantly changing. I
Mhm.
mean, there's individuals within Agricity that have been with the agency for 25, 30 plus years,
Mhm.
and they're still learning every single day. Our carriers, they're constantly changing their appetites,
Mhm.
their risk tolerances, and you have to stay caught up with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Just kind of like real estate. I mean,
hmm
it adapts with the everything else in the environment,
Yeah.
the housing, the employment, unemployment, everything is
hmm
changing on a constant basis, which is why I love real estate too, is because
hmm
I love to continuously educate myself, which I'm sure you do too.
hmm
It's almost what keeps it entertaining and fun because I know you're a very go-getter,
hmm
so you're somebody who doesn't really like to do the same thing
hmm
repetitively. So if things are still
Absolutely.
changing, you're staying on top of it and you want to be the best version of yourself, but also
hmm
to support your clients and those individuals you're working with.
hmm You nailed it.
Awesome.
So.
Perfect. Gosh, I'm good at that. Yeah. Just kidding.
No,
So,
and I
somebody listening to this, how would you think, or what could they do if they're looking for homeowners insurance? I mean, how can they get in touch with you to kind of get that set up?
Sure. So we do have an office on 33rd Avenue. Where Family Video used to be. We're in that strip mall, the very far north suite.
Hmm.
So we do have how many? We have 5 agents in that office, and we have a CSR. And each agent, we have
What's a
our
CSR?
sorry, a customer service
Okay.
representative.
Okay.
Yep. And they really help us on the day to day. Sometimes, if we're not in the office, yes, they are meeting with a client or doing service work, you name it,
Hmm.
but really help the agents do income producing activities. So they have time to go out, meet with people, build those relationships.
Yeah.
So CSRs, I mean, we couldn't do our job without them. They're a
Yeah.
huge piece of the business model.
Hmm.
But we do have 5 full-time agents. And like I said, we're located at 33rd. So each agent, we have our own production goals. We're separate from each other, but we do work as an Agricity team. We still have the
Hmm.
same processes, but we
Hmm.
do have our own separate goals that we work towards every month, quarter, and year.
Hmm. So if somebody wanted to go through you,
hmm
and they called your office phone,
Yep.
a lot of people I don't think realize that they can actually work directly
Directly.
with you,
hmm
just as you being their insurance agent.
hmm
So, what can you tell the public to kind of help them understand how the insurance world works, or at least through Agricity?
hmm so if you call the office, Sarah will most likely answer the phone. Ask for myself, Paige Ritz, and she will direct you my way, either to my cell phone or to my office phone, and I can take the conversation from there. Really, what that looks like is I would gather all the needed information depending on the policy line that you are needing or
Hmm.
wanting to look into, and we go from there on building the relationship and getting the information needed.
Yeah, and
So.
how would you say that you, as an agent in
mhm.
Agricity, would separate yourself from others within your company?
I guess for myself, I just from a demographic standpoint, going after the younger generations, the people that they want to be educated.
Hmm.
High school is great and everything, college is great, but there are things that you are not taught. You're not taught insurance, savings, investing. You're not taught any of that. And I
Hmm.
think that is really kind of my bread and butter, working with those first time home buyers or even
Hmm.
individuals that have had a couple of home policies
Hmm.
or auto policies. They don't know their coverages. I mean, I get that on a daily basis. I don't know the difference between bodily injury and property damage.
Yeah,
And I think that's
yeah,
a really unique opportunity that I'm
yeah.
given to educate people to make sure that they understand the coverages they
Hmm.
have, as well as, okay, I feel adequately protected in the event of a loss.
Hmm.
So, I
Hmm.
mean, just the education piece of it, I feel like that's a huge asset that I do have.
Hmm.
Relationship building, it's the whole package. We're truly a
Hmm.
relationship and service based business.
Yeah.
So much more than just transactional.
Yes, because I remember when I bought my first property, I didn't realize this because didn't know I was supposed to get my own insurance. I had
hmm
no idea. I wasn't
hmm
in real estate, didn't ever own a property, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was at the closing table, they're like, well, where's your insurance? I'm like, I don't know. And they said, well, do you just want to go with us? I'm like, sure. I mean, I need
You do.
insurance,
Sure.
which it's not, that's not how it works now. Like you need to have it in advance. Not, I don't know how it
Mm-hmm.
happened, but anyway, so I went with them. I just said, yeah, and I signed papers, not knowing what my coverage was, not knowing
Mm-hmm.
any of that. Well, then I was also working with another insurance company. And I asked him, I said, hey, would you guys mind giving me a quote? And so they did. He's like, do you realize that you don't have full coverage on your roof, citing that if you had a damage that you'd have a total
Oh
loss that you're
no.
not covered. I'm like,
Oh.
I thought that was standard,
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty typical, especially
Mm-hmm.
when you have a mortgage. I don't know, it's a whole thing. So then we changed it over.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the other important part is that people don't realize that they probably need to review their policy on an annual basis. Talk to your
Absolutely.
insurance rep, meet with them, or talk to them over the phone. Make sure that the policy is still the same, or talk about the numbers and pricing, because typically
Mm-hmm.
things go up. But if you talk to your insurance rep, I know that they can always help negotiate that
Mm-hmm.
a little bit for you. So that, because I've had it where there was a policy that jumped up like $500 a year, and I thought that was something that I just had to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I talked to my insurance rep. He's like, "Oh no, that shouldn't have happened. I'm sure that it's not him. It was down the road, or
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it all works
Sure.
either." So,
And one thing that's really unique about an independent agency versus a captive. So, what I mean by that is a captive agency, they can only write for one specific carrier. As an independent, which Agricity is, we have options. So, just because you're with Nationwide right now doesn't mean that in 5 years, Battle Creek Mutual might be an option for you. We
hmm
do have, if your current carrier is no longer suitable for you, we have options to place you elsewhere within the agency to retain your business. So that's one
yes,
thing. We can find the right place for
hmm
your needs.
it's kind of like a lending broker, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, so you're kind of like the broker of the insurance.
In a way. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
you
Absolutely.
can go out there and.
Yep, we will run all the quotes for you. We'll do all the hard work,
hmm
make sure that we can find you the best price without compromising any coverage.
hmm That's
So,
good to know. That's
mhm.
really good to know. And what sort of advice would you give to somebody who's just getting insurance, or maybe has had insurance forever and really doesn't know much about the insurance
Mhm.
field?
Ask questions. Don't be afraid. There's no dumb question. Trust me. Before I was in insurance, I didn't even know what my own policy read.
Mhm.
So ask the questions. Make sure you fully understand how you are covered.
Mhm.
Just because you never know when something bad is going to happen. And it could take many years to rebound from that if you're not covered appropriately. So
Mhm.
ask the questions and challenge your agent. I really do encourage you to challenge them. Make sure that you are in the right place for your needs.
Yeah. Yeah. And kind of going back to your, the bodily injury to private property, I think, have you ever done like a class to explain? I mean, I know our generation, it's
Hmm.
really important for people to know. And for me, I want to know those things.
Hmm.
But it's also repetitive. Like if I hear it once, I'm not going to retain it all.
Sure.
But have you ever done like a class or just like an interview to where you can explain, what sort of coverage you should have, especially just, maybe this is homeowners, this is like construction, this is your vehicle, and these are things that you should have
Hmm.
on your policy. Have you ever thought about doing anything like that?
Um, I have actually. It's funny you say this. I have a good friend of mine. Her mom is a former teacher, and we were chatting just a couple of weeks ago, and she said you should really reach out to the business department and be a guest speaker at the high school because this is. I mean, there's a huge void in the education system
Yes.
on these things. So
Oh, most
it has. My
definitely.
wheels have been turning, and
Mhm.
I will openly take on those opportunities as they arise.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I think it'd
that'd be
be very
something
important to get into
I'd be
the.
happy to do.
Yes,
Absolutely.
definitely. So, okay, so somebody listening, how can they get a hold of you if they're like, "Hey, I want you to run an insurance quote." Does it cost anything to run an insurance quote for them?
Nope, it's completely free, no obligation. Obviously, give me a call at the office, 402-564-5000, or my cell phone, 402-276-6831. I also have an email that I can send to you.
Okay.
And I would love to have the opportunity to earn your business. So,
Yeah, yeah. So get a free insurance quote. May as well. It's not going to
mhm.
hurt. And then you can kind of see what coverage you have. She can look at your policy, and go over that. Make sure that you have the appropriate coverage.
Mhm.
And if you don't, looking at numbers and stuff like that. So Paige, I appreciate you coming in. Again, everybody listening, this is Paige Ritz with Agricity, and thank you for stopping in.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.